adenosine. It's a brain chemical or a neurotransmitter that when you sleep, it gets dissipated, so it gets absorbed back. As you then wake up and your day goes, more and more of it gets released throughout the day, and when it gets to a certain point, you start getting tired, and then you go to sleep, and the process starts again. So it's basically a modulator or a governor for your sleep cycles, adenosine. Now, normally one of the things that happens from the moment you wake up, this thing gets released. But now, when you wake up for some reason at 1:32 in the morning, obviously the process starts then. Then add to that, when you fall asleep. So I was awake from 1:32. I don't know why. I had to go pee. So I was up, got back into bed, and I just couldn't fall asleep because there's quite a bit going on. So the brain just runs in 5 million directions, right? And then I read somewhere that if you stay in bed trying to fall asleep or hoping to fall asleep, it's the same as going to sit at the table waiting to get hungry. Anyway, but I fight myself. Come on, man, you gotta sleep. So it didn't really work, but then I fell asleep at about, I'm guessing just before 4. And then my alarm goes off at 4:45 every morning. And for the first time in a very long time, my alarm went off while I was in a deep cycle sleep, REM or dream, no dreams, but deep sleep. And I woke up, it's like, where the fuck am I? What's going on? So my adenosine cycle is kind of whack. Woke up in the sleep, so I went walking with Jackson this morning, but I'm like, what is going on? It's like the slow start. I haven't had a day like that for a while, where it feels like you're mentally trying to wade through a swamp and you're just trying to walk and you're like, oh, come on, you can do this. But it's like you're standing outside of yourself looking at you saying, what the hell's going on? Why are you so slow? Anyway, so adenosine is a real thing. Same as dopamine, serotonin, it plays a part of that whole arc. But the one thing that delays the release of adenosine in the brain is caffeine. What it does is it blocks the adenosine receptors, so your brain can't take up the adenosine that's been released, so you don't feel tired until later in the day. Then you have a massive crash unless you keep on caffeinating all the time, and but that's a vicious cycle because eventually it's going to break. Anyway, so that's me this morning. Whew. So the first thing for me that goes is motivation and creativity. But I went walking, kind of did that. I think from managing the process for me then is literally to look at what I had to do in the day. Obviously I had ideas, always have, but then to break it down and say, okay, cool, which things can I do that does not require a ridiculous amount of creativity or intense focus and so on and so forth. I prioritize those. So I started going through those, and then it works twofold, because if I get to the end of the day then and I haven't done the creative stuff, I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I did check that off. Or sometimes when you start going into those, then you start getting momentum and you carry on from there. Yeah. So that's it. I also doubled down on my nootropics this morning, just to kind of maybe wake up the brain a little bit. I'm not bad. It's just I normally, for those of you that will know me, and kind of, I vibrate at a pretty high energy mentally, which is great, and I can channel that. Today it just feels like it's all soft. Go with it, hey? What can you do? Anyway, so I'm going to get stuck in now and do all those mundane things just to check them off the list. That doesn't require too much brain work. And then training this afternoon, tomorrow morning training again. 9 o'clock, we're off to Madikwe. Senior management and shareholders from Madikwe, from Wild Eye here. We're going to Madikwe for 3 nights. Some people going home then, some of the other staff are coming. So it's the end of our strategy kind of couple of weeks, just to kind of get out, get into the bush, and then go. So looking forward to that. It's a lodge I used to manage many years ago. Grant Marcus, great friend of mine, he's still there. So yeah, if you are in Madikwe this weekend, look out for the Wild Eye crew. We'll be around. And then I'll get back on Tuesday next week, and then it's a week until I leave for the US. Some of you have asked for details on the presentations. Please send me a direct message or a mail, whatever. I can send you the links where you can book. Super pumped for that shitload to do still. But I need to go now. I'm going to now drink a lot of caffeine in order to block my adenosine receptors so that I can stay awake. I'm joking. I'm going. Bye.